I'm here to sue Mr. Hightower for the amount of $3,695 because he did not protect my son in his summer camp, the one that he owns, in a bullying situation.
How old is your son?
13.
13 years old. This is the owner of the camp. And is this a day camp, a sleepaway camp? Tell me about the camp.
It's a sleepaway camp.
Okay.
Yes.
And how long was the stay for? A couple weeks, a month?
Yeah, 6 weeks.
6 weeks?
6 weeks.
Okay. And tell me about the bullying that you said your son experienced.
So he was in a situation where they were close to the bathrooms and 2 kids were wanting to take him to take a peek in the girls' room. Bathroom, and then he said no, he didn't want to, and then because of that he started getting circled and called names. He just felt really bad for having said no.
When did your son tell you about this bullying experience? When he got home?
No, so it is a rule of this camp to not be able to talk to your kids, which I was okay with in the beginning because, you know, you want to give kids the independence
autonomy
they need.
Yes.
Exactly. But I was getting this intuition that something was wrong. My son also suffers from eczema, severe eczema.
Okay.
And I had been very clear with Mr. Hightower about it, and I just wanted to give him instructions to take care of that as well because he could, you know, he was very
outside,
and eczema the sun is
okay.
It makes it so bad. So I really wanted to be clear about it and give him the right information and the steps so that he didn't have to have that happen to him and instead just enjoy, with his friends over there.
Right, but you're telling me that you weren't really permitted per the policy, and we'll get to the policy in a second, Mr. Hightower. Per the camp policy, there's no communication with the parents for the full 6 weeks? Or for how long?
We could speak every once in a while, but I became a little more intense as I thought that he was not really doing okay with the eczema, as I saw that they were not really answering my emails, or they would answer delayed. It was making me a little.
You had a bad feeling.
I had a bad feeling.
Okay,
correct.
let's get to you, Mr. Hightower. Hello to you. Okay, you own this camp.
I do. Yes, Sammy's Summer Camp, going on 14 years now.
Okay, businessman.
Very positive reviews.
So talk to me about what the service is at the camp. What are these kids doing? Are they riding horses? Are they sailing? What are they doing?
Yeah, you know, base level, they're doing all those things. You know, they're camping, they're doing like 3-legged races, they're, you know, canoeing, all that stuff. But I like to think that at the core of my program, I'm kind of taking these young adults, they're about 12 to 18.
Okay.
Normally about middle school age for the most part, like Thomas, he's 13. And I'm kind of trying to, you know, help show them the ropes and like teach them how to be good, successful young adults in the real world. And part of that program entails, you know, a little bit of, if we're doing it correctly, if the children are participating correctly, they're stepping away from their parents a little bit.
Sure.
They're kind of growing up, becoming young adults. And that's why I have that program in place that as much as possible, we'd like the kids to only talk to the parents, not every so often, once a week.
Okay.
Every Sunday is the allotted day for them to talk to their parents.
Is
in a perfect world.
Formalized somewhere, this policy that you're telling me about?
It's all spelled out when people sign up. No one's sending their kids
Can I see this policy? Do you have that available for me?
I believe I think she brought it with her
Somebody has
today.
a policy.
She was so concerned about so many things.
Correct.
Well, she is a mother. Come on, Mr. Hightower.
Thank you. Yes.
I'll take all of your information for it.
Yeah, just give us everything you've got there, Miss Wright, and we will review it.
Here we go, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Bailiff. Okay, so this is Sammy's enrichment camp's policy. You talk about what is bullying. So this is, I mean, you said it yourself, Mr. Hightower. You are working with the probably most impressionable ages of adolescence, right? That 12 to 18, that's a lot of middle school and high school hormones at play. And so, bullying is going to be at play there just like it is in day school. So I'm happy to see your policy does address it. Let's see the highlighted part that Ms. Wright has for me. We are dedicated to ensuring that all of our campers have a comfortable and enriching experience while enrolled in our camp. Violence is not tolerated and could lead to expulsion or suspension from the program. Okay, so let's talk about that. To your awareness, Mr. Hightower, was this young man bullied?
I do believe he was bullied.
Okay,
yes.
so that's a violation of your own policy.
Yeah.
Yes?
Now, there's a number of things that's really strange about this case, and I'll go through those. One, I think it's strange to send your kid off to a summer camp that lasts like 6 weeks. that's a really long time to just send them off. That's basically saying, you're out of school, I don't want to deal with you, so go be in the wild so I don't have to deal with you. That's what I feel about these types of camps. Now, I also think it's strange that the rule of the camp is that you can't contact your kid. That's also really strange to me. Another thing that's really weird is that this guy here doesn't think there's anything wrong with the fact that they were bullying the kid. But what's also really strange is that these young kids wanted to peek into the girl's bathroom and do some peeping stuff, which is strange and wrong. And they don't view that as violence against the women that go to this place of camp. I think this guy has a really big issue if he's not able to handle this and squash it right away. Now, was he not properly protecting the kid during this time? You know, it's hard to argue that. But I want to know, do you guys think that he's going to have to end up paying for this, or do you think he did nothing wrong as a camp owner? Let me know.
What happened at the camp, I don't condone that at all. I think that's terrible behavior. And
Right.
those children were reprimanded.
Talk to me about what you did.
Yeah, I kind of sat them down. I brought them into my office, and beyond punishing them, I wanted to let them know why that was wrong. You know, I'm trying to create some positive impressions in
Sure,
these kids'
give
young
me a
lives.
sense, Mr. Hightower, as to what you told these young men. Because again, I don't envy your task of trying to, moderate and mediate teenagers of this age, and not even preteens, really, almost. And then you've got the gender thing going on. You've got the teenage hormones of boys, and you acknowledge that the bullying took place. You're saying it was absolutely inappropriate. So what are you telling these young boys who are doing the bullying?
Well, I'm trying to communicate them like the understanding of like boundaries and how this is wrong and how you can make your female campers very uncomfortable with what you're doing, and just trying to get them to understand how, you know, that could make other people feel, because unfortunately I don't think those kids picked up on it.
Right.
And they were punished. They were not allowed to do the outdoor activities for 2 days, which those kids in particular really like. So
Okay.
it was a punishment for them. They had to clean the kitchens for a week after that. So I did want to make them feel the impact of their actions, and you know.
But there was no suspension or expulsion. I just want to be clear.
Yes, because
Okay.
if you look at the language of that, it says
That's
it
for violence.
could lead to.
Okay, could lead to, and you know.
It is
you
my
do-
discretion at the end of the day.
Okay, your discretion. Okay, I'll be right back with you. How do you feel about the punishment, Ms. Wright?
So I have two things to say about this. First of all, I feel like there's negligence in the sense that he took care of it himself. I feel like in any educational scenario, you would probably need a psychologist to address bullying. So first of all, he's trying to tell them it's wrong from his perspective.
Well,
but
I am telling them.
bullying is a little deeper than that. Bullying has deeper layers to
What would
that.
you have liked him to do, Ms. Wright?
The
Tell the
policy,
court.
the policy says that that you are basically promised that your kid is going to have a enriched experience,
Yep, that's
and
what
that
it's called.
if they're
She was
bullied,
having.
the perpetrators are going to be kicked out of school. Correct?
So you wanted them to be expelled?
In this situation, yes. But what I'm saying is, you want to take preventative measures so that it doesn't happen in the first place.
Okay, I hear that. Okay, so let's get to your claim. Ms. Wright, you're saying you want a full refund of the $3,695 that you paid up front in full. Final question actually for you, Ms. Wright. How long did your son, Tommy, stay at the camp? It was 6 weeks total.
3 weeks. He was going into the third week.
Okay.
That's when I decided we're done here.
And Mr. Hightower, what is your return policy?
We do have a policy that there are no refunds after the first week, and her child was there up through the third week.
And were you aware of that policy, Ms. Wright?
I was aware of that policy, considering that the policy as well was going to be, that it was going to happen.
Enforced.
It was
Okay.
going to be enforced.
Sure. All right, I think I've heard enough here. I want to say this. Number one, bullying is a very, very serious problem that's only gotten worse through social media, right? We know that young kids are very impressionable, and I understand the relationship you have with your son, Ms. Wright, because I am an only child of a single mother as well, so it's a very close and personal relationship. Because I understand it and I've lived it, I know that sometimes the single mothers of only children can be a bit overprotective, okay? And the expectation that they will never feel pain, and that they will never have anyone say anything mean to them or cruel to them or have injury emotionally comes from a good place, right? But it's actually very unrealistic. And while I make your point and hear your point about preventative nature coming from the owner who is responsible for the well-being and welfare of your child and every child in his, control, nobody can create a safety net or bubble of protection around anybody's child. It's impossible. That said, the bullying, unacceptable. And you said that.
Of course.
I don't know that I feel that the remedy that you came up with, cleaning some dishes and all of this, that, and the third, is sufficient. But I also agree with your policy that short of violence or something extremely egregious, it would not necessarily be warranting of an expulsion or a suspension.
So the fact that these kids were, I'm gonna surround you to try and get you to do this thing and bully you for not doing the peeping Tom thing that we were asking you to do, like, that isn't very violent, but some people would consider the bullying, regardless of whether or not there's physical interaction, is still considered violent. But what I don't understand is if there's people who are making it very unsafe, like if there's children making it extremely unsafe for young ladies to be at this camp in the bathrooms, then that is something that I think would qualify for an expulsion of the sorts. But at the end of the day, he used his best judgment and decided to do a more of a light punishment and remove them from access to the fun activities and make them do chores around the camp. And I don't think that he should have been, sued for this, because this is what he did in his best interest. I feel like this mother here doesn't have as much of a grounds for suing as much as the parents of these young ladies do, because these young boys were quite literally doing creepy stuff in the women's bathroom at this camp. That's the thing, and that's the issue I have. Not so much that these kids were being silly and, being like, oh, you gotta just do it, and we're gonna surround you and make fun of you if you don't go in there and look inside the girls' bathroom. So that's just my opinion, guys. Some of you might think differently, so let me know. What do you guys think?
It would not necessarily be warranting of an expulsion or a suspension, because those parents also pay tuition to have their children attend. I really do feel in this case that what happened to your son was unfortunate. I wish him nothing but the best moving forward, but you were aware of the no refund after a 1-week policy of attendance. Thus, you are going to be responsible for the full $3,695. Thus, plaintiff, Ms. Wright, your case is dismissed. I find in favor of the defendant.
Judge Ebony has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
Any final thoughts from each other?
I think justice was served today.
All right, please grab your things. Follow me, please.
Well, I agree with this judgment in some capacity. I don't necessarily agree that there was zero violence on this situation. I do think that bullying or not, it is considered violence, whether there's hands touching on people or not. I think the young children deciding to go look and creep into the women's bathroom, I think that also constitutes as violence. Some might disagree, some might think that's an aggressive take, but I do think that. Now, I don't know what would make this mother feel better about the situation. It sounds like all she wanted were these kids to be kicked out and expelled from the camp. And I think that could have been a little bit of an aggressive approach. I think he did do something. He addressed the behavior and gave some form of a consequence and a punishment. And I feel like at the end of the day, that is sufficient enough in this case. It's his policy, it's his camp, and that's how it is. So I want to know what you guys think. Do you agree with the judgment? Do you disagree? Do you think that these young kids were doing something that was violent, whether there was physical interaction or not? Or do you think that this mother is being overprotective and just kind of being a Karen? Let me know your thoughts.